Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Behind the Comic. I'm your host, Paul Roseberry, and today is just kind of a quick little story about getting unfollowed on Instagram by a friend who was deported. What the hell? So listen to this. I tried to help the friend to not get deported, and he still unfollowed me. Isn't that kind of like an unsaid rule? If someone tries to keep you from getting deported from the United States, don't you have to follow them for life?
Yes.
Isn't that an unspoken rule?
That's human rule 101.
Check this out. So my buddy from Egypt, right? So we used to work together in New York City, and we both lived in Queens. So he was awesome. This kid, we were tight buddies. He'd come to my apartment every morning on the way to work, and he would split his sandwich with me. His wife would make him a sandwich that he didn't really like, but it was good enough for us to have for breakfast. And I just saw it as literally breaking bread. So I'd share a sandwich with him. It was like a little bonding thing. We'd laugh about his wife makes this bullshit sandwich. We'd both eat it, and we'd go to work. And so anyway, I thought we were kind of homies, you know. We would hang out. We'd go to bars, you know, we were tight. Worked together, hung out, knew each other's, you know, friends and whatever. I knew his wife, all that shit. And so one day I'm waiting for him to show up. I'm ready to eat half of his sandwich. And I'm waiting, and the kid doesn't show up. Turns out I get a call from his wife later in the day. The feds busted down his door. Yeah, I think it was ICE, you know, like he had it was some real New York City shit. It's like some CSI.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they busted down his door first thing in the morning. Dude's in his boxers, not even, you know, taking his morning piss, and he's in cuffs on the floor. And apparently he did some pretty bad shit back in Egypt, and he lived in the UK. He lived in London for a while, and he got in with some bad characters. He had told me some wild stories when we drank, and you never know if people are embellishing. I kind of knew he wasn't. I was like, these stories sound pretty legit, but one of them was like he drove a car off a bridge or something like that. Like, just this dude was nuts, crazy, and so I guess apparently, you know, you hang out with the wrong guys after school one day, you end up committing armed robbery, and, you know, it could be any of us.
It could be you, it could be me, it could be anyone.
So this dude apparently was involved in an armed robbery in London, and he had to leave the country over that. But here's the thing: it was way in his past, a long time ago. He was a young kid at the time, and now he had gotten his real estate license. He was in college here in the U.S. You know, he had a great job in real estate. The guy was awesome. He was actually a great citizen at this point. This had been like 8 years. I don't know how long. It had been a long time. So when they took him away, he wasn't deported overnight. He was kept in whatever, like customs, whatever they do. I don't know. I'm sure maybe like some sort of, not customs, but like some sort of a intermediary where they decide if you're going to have to leave or not. And so his wife's all bawling her eyes out. I'm one of his best friends, and a couple other guys, and only one other guy who you know as well. We would go to court. Dude, I went to court once early in the morning in downtown New York. I want to say twice in that courtroom. I went to court to be a character witness and to show that he had friends and like could vouch, and, you know, I dressed up and all that shit. And once, the third time, I took a train into Jersey. I went to another state to try to keep this motherfucker in this country because I thought he was good people. I'm not saying he isn't, but they ended up deporting him. Nonetheless, he had to go. I think he went to prison. He was actually in a UK prison. Yeah, but he like told me later on they had Xbox. It wasn't that bad. I guess prison over there, they don't do like the whole, you know, rape ya thing over there like they do over here. And so anyway, went to prison, did his time, and then he went on to have a kid. Now, in fairness, here's the one little odd thing of karma, though. He unfollowed me days, I mean maybe a week after I muted him. But I don't think you can know if somebody muted you. I muted him only because I still want him as my buddy. I still want to have access to, I don't know if his account's private. I still want to be able to check in and just see what his life's doing. But he had a son. I don't know if it was he or his wife or the two of them. So many pictures of the kid. Just so many. Just stop, dude. Stop. He didn't grow since yesterday. Like, I've seen him eat.
Every parent thinks their kid grows every day.
Enough. So, like, in fairness, he was doing 3 times a day of his kid, and I was like, all right, he was cute the first 12. I'm kind of over it. And so I muted him. I would not unfollow, but I muted him. Strangely enough, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there's any way you can know if somebody muted you. That's why you mute. And then he unfollowed me like that week. And I don't know, it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind. I've never been deported from a country. I hope to never be deported. But he has. And I'm one of 2 people. I think I might have been there to court 3 times and no one else was there 3 times. I think I tried harder than anyone who wasn't married to the man. And he unfollowed me. So that's my story. Social media is weird, and just keep in mind before you hit unfollow, consider the mute. Just consider the mute.
A lot of people don't know about the mute.
Just look at it. How do you not know? When you go to hit unfollow, doesn't it say? I think it says then. Are you sure?
Oh, it's like a 3-step process.
Yeah.
You have to type in the person's name, go to their page, click the button, and then confirm. Like, you really want to do this. I feel bad unfollowing anyone.
Consider the mute. Consider the mute. Yeah, consider the... Unless you're over the person. Unless it's war. Unless it's blood. You're like, screw it. You're out. Never want to see you again.
Want them to know.
Yeah, because people know. But, anyway, so...
You have a few people on your phone.
Oh,
It's
my
like
God.
the person's name. Unfollow me on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I actually have a buddy saved in my phone as blank first name, unfollowed me on Instagram is the last name. Unfollowed me on Instagram because I know this person very, very, very well. In fact, if I give any details as to how well I know this person,
He won't
it'll
see
be...
the video, though, because he doesn't follow you.
Guess what? I've known him for probably 15 years. How about that? Anyway, that's this episode of Behind the Comic. Make sure you click, like, subscribe, all that shit. And be kind and mute. Don't unfollow. See you later. I'm Paul Roseberry.
That's a good message.
Yeah.
You know how, like, Ellen's always like, be kind, but you're like, be kind.